this video here, I am going to deal with the shocks finally before I put the two halves to the chassis. So I'm going to set all this to the side, grab my shock bag, grab my shock caps, my shock parts, and I'm going to go over to my pit bag. And grab my shock hole I run, if I have enough. Go a little thicker this time. Yep, I'm gonna go a little. I normally run 35 weight associated in it, but I have some 37.5. I'm gonna go a little thicker on this chassis. If I don't like it, I can always change it later. So what I'm gonna do here, grab my handy dandy shock stand here. Pull everything out of the shock bag. The kit comes with some shock oil, but I think it's like 30 weight or something like that. What stock comes with, I'm not sure. That's just what it feels like to me when I've tried it or dealt with it before. Gotta grab my shock pliers, because I will be removing the shock shafts. Because these here will do you fine, the stock ones, but they bend. You get hit in the back, or you get hit in the front, or you hit somewhere hard in the front, they bend pretty easy. So what I'm gonna do here, since I'm gonna be getting rid of these caps, don't want to lose the bladders in there. I will have to reuse the bladders, so I want to kind of get that out without damaging it, like so. Put that to the side. Now I'm going to grab my shock pliers. And there's little notches up here for the shock shafts. Then you got the shock bodies. Then the ball pin, or ball cup. So I'm going to grab it, the shock shaft, as close to the eyelet as possible, and unthread this eyelet. And then I will pull that out, pull the bump stop off, push the shock shaft all the way up and through, and pull it out. Now, what I will need to do, and this is where this clip deal might come in handy. Then again, it might make it harder. It's the 3mm clip. Oh, there's a shock limiter. They do come with a little bitty shock limiter from the factory. A lot of people like to add more. I run stock. See if this thing works, popping out the keeper, and obviously not. So I will get my handy dandy little flat screwdriver, just kind of put it in the edge of the E-clip and just push it away from the shaft. There's one shaft off. Now I will need the 2765T, which is the extra long shafts, which is for the front. Then you have the extra long shafts, or XX shafts, for the rear. And then I have my cats playing in the background here again. That rustling you heard from one of the other videos, that was them playing. Now, well, I may be wrong. That one does seem shorter. That's why I grabbed the ones for the front instead of the rear. I'm doing a rear, so I needed my extra long. What do I do with that one? So I am right. The extra longs for the rear. The extra long is for the front. I just happened to open the wrong bag to do this shock. Yeah, me, I'm a dum-dum. You got gum for dum-dum? I need to go watch that movie. Not the first night at the museum. Take my little E-clip tool and push this E-clip on. A lot of times if you don't have that tool, you can set it in the groove and put it against something and push down, and it'll usually snap right in there. Now you want to make sure you put your piston back on right, where the sharp edge is facing down and the rolled edge is facing up. I'll do this one without the tool, just to show y'all how y'all can do it with, like, the little flathead screwdriver here. I'll set it in the groove there at the beginning, put my finger over it, just kind of take the flathead screwdriver and shove it into it, just like that. I call them Jesus clips, because you ever have one fling off here, you'll be saying, Jesus, where'd that go? Put my limiter on, put it back in here, if I can find the hole. You want to be kind of easy. You don't want to do too much wiggling and tear the O-rings that are down here. Then I got that on there. I will put my bump stop on and grab my shock pliers. Grab pretty close to threads, but not on the threads, because you don't want to. These are supposed to help keep from marring the shock shaft, but I'll hold it as close to the shock or the threads as possible. I will thread the end link back on. I will do the other three, and that's how you put the nitrate shock shafts in there. I'm going to do the other three off camera, and I'll bring y'all back on when I'm ready to fill them. Okay, now that I got all 4 shock shafts built or put in, I'm going to fill up my shocks with my preferred, not my preferred, but my shock fluid. And what I usually do, drip it in there, or run it in there to almost the top, like so. Creates like a little bowl. Now we'll run the shock piston up and then back down. See them bubbles come out? I'll do that a couple times, and then I will set it on my handy dandy shock stand. Let the air come to the surface while I do the other ones. Again, fill it up to right about the top. There's air bubble that already come up right there. Cycle it up and down. Another air bubble come out. One more time and back down. Set it on the stand. Let the air bubbles come out of them. Now the rear is going to take a little more fluid than the front. And go up, shock, or not shock, air bubble. And down. Big air bubble. That one had a big old air bubble in it. Another one. Now let it set right here. Grab my fourth and last one. Fill it up like so. Y'all probably can't see, but about like that. This one I got kind of bubbled over, so I want it to be kind of easy coming up with it. That way I don't overflow. Pull it down real quick so I get an air bubble to pull some of the shock fluid down. Yeah, look at that. Several air bubbles right there. Go back up. You can almost push the air bubbles out. You gotta be careful not to push too much and get shove all your fluid out. I'm pushing up a lot of air bubbles on that one. And back down. Now that I got that one done, I'm looking at this one. It is done. I will grab my shock caps. With these Traxxas aluminum shock caps, they come with washers and shoulder screws. Only thing I'm going to use out of here are the washers. But if y'all know me, my colors are blue and green. So I'm going with the blue shock caps. My current one has green on it, I do believe. I'm going blue on this one. Kind of match my... I'm going to go with blue wheel nuts. I got to get some wheel nuts. Kind of like my steering belt crank. Now what I'll do here, let me get a paper towel because it can get kind of messy here. And this is kind of a way I got taught, is lay your bladder with the bubble down on top. Actually, I probably need to put a little bit more in that one. Because you're going to get some residual come out. But want to kind of push the piston up just a little. Lay your bladder on top. You kind of just rest your finger on it. Don't put no pressure on it. And then you pull down the shock shaft. It will suck the bladder down in there. Then you take your cap. If you do it right. Try this again. It will hold your bladder down. And you put your cap on. Clean off your excess. Make sure it's tight. And you'll have your completed shock shaft there. I'm going to clean off my excess shock oil there. Lay that one to the side. Or actually, I'm going to hang it up right here. Y'all can't see it, but I'm going to hang it up. Got my next one. Fill up just a tiny bit more again. 1 or 2 drops, maybe 3. Push the shock shaft up just a little bit. Grab the bladder. Lay it on top. Rest your finger on top. Pull down the shock shaft. We'll kind of hold the shock shaft down. Oh, I didn't get that one right. Once it gets held in there, screw on your shock cap. It might feel like you're catching that rubber, but if you pull it down right, it won't catch the bladder, and it will not rip it. But you don't want a bladder to rip, because then you have a leaky shock. Run a couple times. That's a pretty dead shock shaft, or shock. That's the two fronts done. Now we'll do the rear. A couple more drops of shock fluid. And again, go up the shock shaft some. Lay the bladder on top. Rest your finger on top. Pull down the shock shaft so it sucks the bladder in there. Hold the shock shaft down. Put your cap on. Just like so. And like that, I have 3 of the 4 built. Both fronts and my rear, one rear. Just tight, run it a couple times. You want to kind of come back out, because that'll help with your rebound. But when you, oh god dang it. Gosh darn it. That's what happens when you got a big belly like me. Bump stuff trying to show off on camera. Good thing I have a paper towel handy. Get a new one. Let's fill this one back up. And clean off the excess that from when it fell over. I'm going to put it on this side. But as I was saying, you don't want to pull the shaft back in, because then that can cause your shock to try to be compressed all the time. You want to, when you push in, just kind of come out a little bit. Some people like their shocks dead, where when you do that, it don't move at all. I like mine to have a little bit of rebound. Let's try this again. Without spilling anything. Shock shaft up some. Bladder on. Lay my finger on the bladder. Gonna squeeze some out. That's fine. I got a little too full. Hold the shaft down. Put the cap on. Another rag. Get the excess off. Make sure it's tight. There's the rear done. Now, with that done, I can put my shock stand up. Put this traction shock fluid up. Might use that for a future project. I may get me another crawler and build it. Don't know yet. Also, I have this shock tower that it works, but it's a bit shaky. I don't like it. We will get our springs out. From my understanding, the stock springs do not have the color bar on them, because Traxxas does offer springs in different rates. But as you see, you got long ones and short ones. Short ones go on the front, of course. Long ones go on the rear. Pull the preload spacers, lower keepers, upper keeper, lower keeper. Get all these out. Oh, come back here. Alright. I will grab a front shock. Put upper keeper on. Put a spring on. If it had the color code on it, I would put this color deal at the top. Pull the spring a little bit. As I drop that, I'll get it in a second. Put your keeper on down here. Pull it over the eyelet. There you go. Let me retrieve that lower keeper that fell. And repeat. Upper keeper, spring, lower keeper over the eyelet. That's both fronts. Now, same thing with the rears, but I'm going to use the preload spacers on the rear. So I'll slide it on there. You can snap them on afterwards, but I just put it on while I have the shock apart. Now you want to make sure your bump stop is above your lower keeper. That way when the shock bottom's out, it has that to hit. Preload clip. Upper spring keeper. Spring. Lower spring cup. That's what it's called. And that is my rear's done. Now, I am going to grab out of this bag. I'm just going to dump it out right here. Put it back what I don't need. You can get by with the shoulder screws, but they always tend to back out. There's nothing worse than a screw popping out of your shock cap in the middle of a race. Put them back in there. I'm going to set them right there. Grab my front assembly here. And go back a few pages in the book. I'm going to leave these right here for now though. Back to the front assembly. I need an M3 by 15 button cap screw. There's one. There's the other one. And then I'm going to need this nut driver, a cross wrench. I'll grab my shock standoff that I showed y'all I got, mount it on there, look lost, grab my shock, put the cap on it, and the washer. I just have a nut. I'm going to do it. There it is. And the nut. I might have to get some longer screws for that because I don't feel safe with that. For now, I'll leave it though. Now my front, I always put them on the outer hole. On the lower. Which I think that's what the book says. For the front. Nope, it says on the inner hole. I like it on the outer hole. It kind of lowers the front end a little. It gives it a little bit of a wider stance. If I can get it in there. Like I said before, these arms are used, so they got a little bit of scarring on them. Take X-Acto, kind of clean the flaring off a little bit. Try this again. There it goes. Take a lower shock screw. Get everything lined up. Grab a 2-0. Tighten that down. Like so. Now I'm going to do this other side. Yep, I'm going to use that. Use that, my driver. I should get it tighter. That's better. Still move. Got my nut there. Grab my other shock stand. Set it on there. Shock. On the stand. Nut. More washer. Then nut. Tighten it up. And this is why I go with the screw all the way through. Like I said, I may end up changing them out to like some, put 25s on there, I believe. Yep, 25 millimeter. Probably go to 28s, maybe even 30s in length. Come on, Servo Saver, get out of there. Line everything up. Hopefully this side slides in easier than the other side did. Yep. Line it all up here. That's front shock mount. Both front shocks mounted. Like I said, I'm probably end up changing them screws so I can get that thread lock or the nylock on that bolt nut to hold. I'm gonna grab my rear one, grab my other set of standoffs, slide them on. See, these are 30s. They leave enough that they'll tighten up. I need that screw kit I had. I need to get 2 nuts out of it. And these nuts are standard nuts because this kit is for a 10 SCTE. So the bolts and everything are standard size, heads and hexes. Put the shock on. Washer, nut. They tend to fit. Run it tight. Now it's actually got some play in it, so I can run it tighter. There it is. And on the bottom, I run it on the second from the inside. Kind of give me a little more rear height. You want to make sure your big flat side of your pillow ball is facing out. Meanwhile, while I'm all hands, I'm gonna get up here where y'all can see, and then start in this hole. There's several. There's like 5 different mounting positions. I put it on this one because it works for me. Out there at Shaw's. Run down to its top. Grab my one. Robert Shaw didn't have none of blue of these. He had them in red and these gunmetals and a silver. I like the gunmetal. I'm a big fan of gunmetal. Gunmetal green, gunmetal gray. I just like the look of gunmetal. Put my shock on. Washer. And another nut and repeat. And that is done on that one. Now I mount the lower shock. And again, make sure the big flare or flange on the pillow ball is facing out. And start your screw, put it in. Y'all may get lucky and get a nice little treat here. And I'll be mounting these 2 pieces to the chassis. So, move all this. I'm going to need this part. Put some of my tools away here. Straighten this out. So it's out of the way. According to the book, I will mount the rear. You will need 4 of the M3 by 12mm screws. 2, 3, and 4. Now, you will slide the chassis together like that. I kind of pitch it like this and tilt it down. That way, I can get it kind of keyed in there. Hold it like this. Take your screw. Back here is kind of hard, right in front of the shock tower. Put your screw on your driver. Hold it kind of up like this. Stick it on the screw hole. Tighten it to the chassis. Now you got one holding it. Same thing, kind of hold it at an angle so it keeps the chassis together. Stick it in the hole, start the threads. Now, for this, I'm going to go ahead and use these I'm going to use my driver here. Just to get it down on there. Turn it over. And then on the bottom, you have your 2 right here. Uno, dos. Run 2 motor wires through this square hole right here in the shock tower. And then plug them in matching your colors. Black to black, red to red. Red to red. Now what I like to pull them back through a little bit. And I will get a zip tie in the near future. I will kind of zip tie it around the shock tower here. Just kind of keep the wires there. Make sure I got enough slack on both sides. That's the rear. Let me put these shock caps up. Now, the front section, I will need 3 of the nope, 2 of the 3 by 12 millimeter screws. 4 of these bigger screws. 1, and which are M4. That one's a 12. One of them's a 14. There's the 14. What? I'm confused. Anyways, get my front half. And nose goes in between the shock tower. Sets like so. Get my 2.5 and get one of these. M4 screws. Goes to this screw hole right here. Goes right into the bulkhead. And then 2 M2s. Flip it over. Same as the rear. Goes to the chassis brace, into the chassis. I ain't run it down all the way yet. Till I get all of them started. Run down this till it touches. And as you see, I let it spin in my hand. That way I'm not getting it too tight. And I want to braid it for a second. Got them 2. Tighten these 2. Go through, check the rears, make sure I didn't get them too tight and they're tight. Now I will need this piece here, which sits in the front bumper and right here. That's where the M14 screw that's odd. Anyway, 2.5 driver. Shows the M14, but I don't have one M14 here. I have 2 of them. Start that one. Start the two in the front. One of the two M14s right here in front. Right in front, just like that right there. Run it down. Run that one down. And it's either I dropped one in my carrier deal here, or I shorted one. But let me find a similar one. There's a similar one in this. That's why it's always good to keep extra screws. These should be M3 by 15. It's probably gonna be like this one. No, it's 12. M3 by 15. There's the other one. Put them right there. Put all the other screws in here. And I have, and this is that screw kit from the steering bell crank that I put in. Take both of these. And they go in right here on the furthest back part of the bumper brace. So this, yeah, front bumper mount. Run them until they touch and it spins. Like that. And go through your hand drivers. Make sure it's all tight. If I can find the screw. There's that part. On the next page is showing where, oh damn, I need to put that tin up. I'll use one of these tins with thread locker since I put the aluminum, or not aluminum, the metal gears in it. Now, let me grab my 16th reload that I have here. Still want a little milk. I'm tired, guys. And I will, just for the moment, plug it in here. Open up the radio box, because I will need the radio for this part. Excuse me. Should come out of there. Why is it being so difficult? Ooh, shiny. Like I said, And like I've told y'all before, all my kits are used. All my racers are used. This is my first new racer kit that I've got. So, look, brand new, lovely. A little bit of ASMR here. We're getting the right spot. That is nice. That is nice. Make sure my steering knob's centered. Let me get some batteries for it to put in it. I do have some around here. Use alkalines. Don't use anything else. Alkalines tend to last longer and they provide the power the controller needs. Insert batteries. And we got green. Looky there, guys. Now, well, I know how to do this, but this is telling me how. Turn your radio on. Make sure your steering knob's in 0. And it is power on the chassis. Oh, that battery must be too dead. Traxxas plugs. Let's see if this other one doing anything. Oh, that one done something. Alright. Chassis centered, or the steering centered. Turn it over. And then you want to make sure your servo saver is pointed to the inside. Yep. And you want to make sure your wheels are pretty straight before you mount it. Yeah, I need to go back one tooth. That there looks pretty straight. Sure, we'll make a little bit of noise. Run your screw that in here. I try to hold the servo saver while I'm tightening it. That way I can get it tight. Got steering. Got throttle. Working truck. Now power off. ESC. Unplug the battery. Turn on the controller. Now, it is telling me to mount. I swear I put that on. provided BF Good Wrench tires. I will mount them for y'all in this video. And then I do plan on, there's more wheel nuts, getting a set of the Kumo S1s all the way around. Kit comes with these BFGs, which do good. They're not the S1 compound, but already pre-glued. So I got a little bit crazy with the glue, but oh well. Now, it does tell you rear and front. The offsets are different on the wheel nuts and on here. This here's more flat for the front to where this is sunk in a little more. So I will open these up. Like I said, these are temporary. I'll probably just use them for break-in. Because I'm going to get probably a set of blue and a set of green. Because I got a lot of blue on here. I got the blue back here, the blue caps, the blue bell crank, and I got the forearms. So I might get greens. Set these in here. Go grab my wheel nut driver. Set the wheel there. Mount the fronts first. Guys, I made a boo-boo and didn't notice it till now. It's alright, I'll fix it off camera. I put my body post mount on top of the shock tower on the wrong direction, and it's facing that way instead of up. It's alright. I'll fix it before the body's done. And there's several other things I'm going to do off camera just to tidy it up. I'll tape this wire down here. I'll get this wire taped up here. But all in all, pretty happy with it. It's a good build. If you wonder what I'm using for my drivers, I'm using MIP. I think I said that in one of the last videos of this build. Most of my tools are MIP. I got a few that's not, like the ProTech shock plier tool. And that is a complete truck, guys. That is with all the upgrades we allow. I need to flip this around. I'm kicking myself in the butt for that. That's going to be fun. Lots and lots of fun. And, you know, transponder mounted, the standoffs that's captured up shock bolts, captured hinge pins here, the heavy duty arms, the optional gearing, the metal gears in the servo. I've done the aluminum bell crank. Now that's complete, I'm going to break it in, and then I will paint the body And if y'all show up to the Shaw's Truck Nats on November 13th here in good old Ardmore, Oklahoma, I will reveal the body there. I will film it. I'll film it for everybody that can't show. But I'm going to reveal the body there in front of some of the people that I want to reveal the body to. On that note, click that like button. Give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Be you. Be true. Be honest. See you guys.